This man is one of the worst serial killers in US history, and a lot of people don't know about him. He's the monster behind this photo, which is widely considered to be one of the most disturbing photos in existence. And I'll talk more about this later. This is the story of Robert Ben Rhoades, also known as the Truck Stop Killer. Reminder that I tell a lot of dark, true crime stories on this channel, so viewer discretion is advised, but follow along if you want to hear more. So Robert Rhoades' early life was relatively normal. He was in football and wrestling and choir, and when he graduated high school, he joined the Marine Corps. Then something happened that devastated him. See, Robert Rhoades' father was also a Marine. Right after he joined the Marines, his father was dishonorably discharged for inappropriate contact with an underage girl. And while awaiting trial, his father took his own life. And that seemed to cast a very dark, sinister shadow over the decisions that Robert Rhoades made for the rest of his life. So Robert Rhoades was called the Truck Stop Killer, and this is why. So he was discharged from the Marines because he was involved in a robbery, and he worked a bunch of odd jobs until he eventually settled on becoming a long-haul truck driver. He'd make a lot of long cross-country trips and was known to pick up hitchhikers, but specifically targeted runaways, especially if they were teenage girls. His first known victims were a couple on their honeymoon. The couple was 28-year-old Douglas Siskowski and his wife Patricia Walsh, who was 24. He picked them up as hitchhikers. They were a young Christian couple just trying to hitch a ride back to their hometown. Robert Rhoades promptly shot and killed the husband and disposed of his body on the side of the highway, but he kept Patricia alive for a week before he took her life. And that week must have been agonizing for her, because he really relished in torturing women. He kept her captive in his truck and forced himself upon her. Then when he had decided he had had his fill, he would dump the bodies on the side of the road. And he continued to do this for years. Here's another detail that's pretty important to this story that you should know. While all this is happening, Robert Rhoades has been married 3 times, he's fathered 2 children, and he's very into BDSM. Like, he is obsessed with doing it. And that was a big part of his compulsion to do the terrible things that he did. This photo is actually a cropped image of him in a full BDSM outfit. Not sure if I could post it here, but it is on Google. All 3 of his wives say he was violent in the bedroom and seemed to gain pleasure from their discomfort or pain. So let's talk about this picture, because it has one of the most chilling backstories ever. This is Regina Kay Walters. She's 14 years old, and just a couple weeks before this photo was taken, she looked like this. Regina and her 18-year-old boyfriend were hitchhiking when they were picked up by Robert Ben Rhoades. But almost immediately after he picked them up, he took her boyfriend's life and dumped him on the side of the road. But he kept Regina alive for 2 weeks and subjected her to unimaginable psychological and physical torment. Unfortunately, Regina didn't stand much of a chance, because Robert Ben Rhoades had been at this for years and knew exactly what to do without getting caught. He knew to target runaways so not many people would look for them. He was always on the run because he was always driving cross-country. And worst of all, he had converted the sleeper cabin in his truck into like a torture chamber. It was equipped with chains, shackles, handcuffs, knives, and it was all to enact his very non-consensual, sadistic BDSM fantasies. Regina Kay Walters was on the receiving end of all of this. He also forced her to wear these clothes and shaved her hair. Authorities believe this photo was taken shortly before Regina Kay Walters passed away, which show a very terrified kid. Her body was found badly decomposed in an abandoned barn in Illinois. Robert Rhoades was eventually caught, and this is how. In 1990, a police officer saw a truck pulled on the side of the road in Arizona with its hazard lights on. When the officer looked inside the cab of the truck, he was shocked when he saw a woman. She was handcuffed, screaming, and wearing nothing but her birthday suit. Robert Rhoades tried to talk his way out of it. Luckily, the police officer had more than 3 brain cells and was not buying it, and promptly arrested him. Authorities searched his house while they were investigating him. They found a number of disturbing items, like makeup, women's clothes, and torture devices, and a number of pictures of his victims, including the photos of Regina Kay Walters. Robert Ben Rhoades confessed to taking the 3 lives of the people I mentioned in this story. But he was a truck driver for 15 years, and he admitted to committing crime the entire time. But authorities believe he's tied to about 50 unsolved deaths across the United States. Robert Rhoades was convicted of first-degree murder in 1994. He was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. He's serving his sentence in a prison in Illinois, where he remains to this day.